right. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad everyone's here. I can see people logging in. That's fantastic. Welcome to tonight's episode of the Grapevine Wellness Show. I am your host, Jolynn Armstrong. I'm the founder of Grapevine Inner Wellness. For those of you who don't know me or who are new here, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'll tell you a little bit about myself as a certified trauma recovery coach, certified grief recovery specialist, and a certified somatic embodiment specialist. I provide help for people struggling with anxiety, depression, grief, trauma, and PTSD. So if you or someone you know is suffering from any of these things, or if you're interested in living just a more intentional and fulfilling life and aren't sure what's holding you back, please do reach out to me. I'm offering those attending this show live a complimentary session with me to determine if coaching is right for you. So don't hesitate. You can either email me at connect@grapevineinnerwellness.com. You can fill out the form on my website, or you can call me at 916-415-8619 to schedule your free session and to get to know me a little bit better. But moving to today's episode of the show, I am so excited to have my good friend Connor here. But I have a couple of thoughts for those of you who are here as we kind of introduce Connor. So many people that I talk to feel like their past is really holding them back. Things that happened to them, trauma that they experienced in their past. If this sounds familiar to you, do you ever wish that you could break free from that trauma, from that pain, from those thoughts and things that control you in your life now that you know are coming from your past? Most people that come to me or to any of my shows or workshops or anything are ready to move forward and stop letting their past define their future and start living the life that they were meant to live. So if any of this sounds familiar to you, then you are definitely going to benefit from today's guest. So as a child, Connor Martin endured years of extreme abuse in her childhood home. She was forced to really grow up quickly. She escaped her abusive home at the age of 19, but then as an adult, she experienced abusive partners. That trauma and stress led to massive health problems that we're going to hear about today also. But she never gave up. That's what's so inspiring to me. In today's show, Connor's going to share her journey, the challenges that she faced, and she's so open about this. It's just such a beautiful thing. Connor's going to share with us the tools that she used for healing and how she moved past that and what her life looks like today. So this is a unique opportunity to be inspired and empowered by someone who has walked that path and found true fulfillment. You'll learn how Connor transforms her life and how you can too. So Connor, welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. I am so honored to have you as my guest today.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here, and I'm honored to be with you as always.
Awesome. Oh, good. Well, how about let's just dive in here. Let's talk about what I've just said about you. Correct any errors that I might have made. Let's start with your childhood home. What was that like for you? Maybe you can fill us in.
Yeah, childhood was very dark. I came from a very, very dark past and a dark childhood that a lot of people actually don't know about the true depths of it. But I was raised by a single parent that was severely mentally ill, that never got the tools that she needed to actually thrive and survive in life. And she was enabled her entire adolescence leading into adulthood, came from a very wealthy family. And also a generation that was not really equipped to being able to handle mental illnesses. And you can see that as a huge generational shift as well, especially when back then it was not really seen as something that was normal and it was hidden. And I like to call that kind of time the rug brush era, where it was just like, oh, that's just what it is. We'll just brush underneath the rug. My childhood, my entire livelihood was a giant rug brush. It was started about the age of 4. When I actually found my therapist, she told me, what was your very first memory as a child? And when you go through trauma, you tend to just black out a lot of things, and reopening that was, if you don't do what mommy says, you're never going to wake up. So that was kind of the definition of my entire childhood. Was I was trained to do exactly what I needed to do to survive. And innocence was ripped out at a very young age. I always had to cook, clean, be the adult, make the hard decisions, while enduring emotional, sexual, and physical violence the entire time within the household. And then it unfortunately continued when I was outside of that household because my definition of love was pain. So my entire childhood was just a giant cluster of just that.
Wow. Wow. I love how you put that. Your definition of love was pain. The things that happen to us when our brains, our personalities too are developing carries through for
Totally.
sure. Yeah. So
Totally.
yeah, you really had to grow up at a super young age
Yes.
because of that abuse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Thanks for sharing that, Connor. Yeah.
Yeah.
So um you all right, so you talked about from the age of 4 on through. By the age of 19, you left home. Let's
Mhm.
talk about that process, how that happened, what kind of led to that, and yeah.
So as actually when I was young, the abuse was not as severe as when I got older. A lot of people who deal with personality disorder, narcissism, they thrive in control, and when you can have control over someone, it just feeds into that mental illness even more. But when I got older, she was losing control of me, and so the
Mhm.
abuse got worse. And so through kind of about middle school up until the age that I was 19 was when everything just hit a peak of how bad it actually was. And it was it was rough. I almost did not graduate high school, which a lot of people actually don't know because I had missed so much attendance from being so severely beaten that I could not go to school because nobody needed to see what I actually looked like. And throughout high school, I got the lovely nickname of actually Cake Face because I wore so much makeup because I was actually covering what was happening to me. And people used to write about me online, like, oh, she wears too much makeup and stuff. But I was physically like covered in makeup everywhere and never let anybody see me without makeup because I was hiding what I was going through. And when you're going through something like that, through domestic violence, sexual violence, emotional violence, I don't care what kind of violence you're going through, there's so much shame around that, and it strips all of your vulnerability because you can't be vulnerable with anyone because the person who's supposed to love you the most loves you in pain.
Right.
And it was just all of these horrible events that led up until when I was 19, when literally the cops took me out of my house and they went through and swiped every single one of my belongings and put it in 15 black trash bags. So my entire life went out on the curb in 15 black trash bags.
Mm.
And then I got whisked away to a family member's house. All of my black trash bags went into their house. And then they prepaid a year lease for me with this random roommate who I'd never known. And they just plopped me in an apartment and said, figure it out. I was like, well, I've been trying to figure it out for all of these years. And here is 19-year-old me with the sense of freedom of, oh my gosh, I'm not actually going to be hurt anymore. But then all of the 19 years that I had to live in survivorship punched me like no other because I was finally with myself and I was sitting there going, how am I supposed to process 19 years of abuse and be on my own and put food in my mouth? And it was just like
What
all
does
of
that
these
even look
things.
like?
And yeah, yeah. Age of 19 was not a fun year.
I bet. Well, yeah, you didn't have any structure at all to build from. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, rough year. Rough year to look back on, I'm sure.
yeah, very rough year.
Okay. You got through that year.
I did. I got through that year, and I think it was right around my 20th birthday was when I figured out I should probably go to therapy. because I don't know how to cope with life. And
Oh,
I don't know how to process my 19 years. My entire definition of living was I know how to survive. I don't know how to thrive. I don't know what coping mechanisms are. I don't know how to heal myself. I've made it this far. And by the time that I hit 20, I had 3 failed suicide attempts.
mm, wow.
And that last one, like, it was close. And I remember coming through in the hospital, no family, no friends. And the person who actually revived me in the hospital was like, I've been with you all 3 times. And so I had this medical personnel who was like, what do you need? And I was like, I need to find myself because there's a reason why I'm still here. And I was in a really unsafe place with this roommate, and I ended up living in a woman's shelter for 6 months, and no one knew that. No one could find me. But I was there, and I was very thankful for it because they have therapists there. And I was able to start my journey of healing with really the means that I had. And then thankfully, towards when I almost hit 21 was when I found my therapist that genuinely saved my life.
Mm, oh, I want to hug her.
Believe me. Her and I are going on I think it'll be almost 11 years for us. And I, yeah, I give her so much grace and so much love every single day. Because if it was not for her, I know for a fact I would not be here
Mm,
today because I would have continued until I succeeded.
yeah. Yeah. You would have kept trying. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. How do you even know what you need to learn when you've never experienced a healthy life, right? You don't even know what it looks like to strive for that. You,
Totally. And only knowing love as pain and abuse is something that I even still struggle with as I'll be 30 next year. I think that's something that never leaves you. And when you go through immense amounts of trauma, I think it's unfair to yourself to think that one day you're just going to snap your fingers and you're going to be fixed. This is something that takes work. And it's something that you might have to be in therapy or different forms of therapy for years and years and years and years and years, or throughout your entire lifetime, just so you consistently always have a safe space within yourself.
yeah.
And yeah, there was like a defining moment in my life where I've talked to other abuse survivors too, and some people had like an aha moment during the abuse, and some people had like an aha moment during healing. And
Mhm.
for me, mine was during the abuse. I was in a relationship with a man who was a million times worse than my mother, and I knew he was going to be my end all be all if I stayed with him. And it was in one of the horrible events that I had with him where he locked me in a bathroom for 48 hours. And getting towards the end of the 48 hours, I remember just like looking myself in the mirror and I'm like, am I really going to be a statistic? Like, is this what everything that I have been through has led up to this? Like, am I really going to allow myself to be a statistic? And that was the definitive moment where I was like, no, I went through all this stuff, but I survived all this stuff for a reason. And that's when I started defining my life by if I can do it, you can do it. And that was like that aha moment that I had where I was like, I have to change and it's going to be
Mm.
really hard, but I have to do it at this moment.
Yeah, wow. When you are literally like your life is as precarious as it can get, right? And
Yeah,
there you are. And then these kind of angels are around you, right? The person
100%.
in, yeah, the medical in the medical facility, and then you found the therapist, and there you go. You found guides
Yep.
along the way as well.
Yep.
So you got away, you got out of the bathroom. You
Got out of
came
the
out of the
bathroom.
bathroom. Yes.
Yeah.
And that person is well in your past as well as the other abusive people.
Yes. Yes.
Nice.
Yep. That all stopped. All the abuse stopped when I was 23. So I'm going on 7 years of finally being in a safe space and then now learning how to be that safe space for other people.
Yeah. Yeah. You had a lot of years of experience in the kind of the opposite. So these 7 years, like, I love that you have patience with yourself and that you have the understanding that this is a journey to go through. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. I've seen so many people that have gone through traumatic events and they don't give themselves love and grace.
Mm-mm.
It's like you survived that. I don't care how small or how big it is. We're all humans. We can all feel the same feelings. We might not have gone through the same exact events, but we can feel the exact same type of emotions. I mean, when you aren't giving yourself love and grace through these moments, it's something that just it kills me because our souls were meant to love and they're meant to love one another, partners, family. And if you don't come from that, you create it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
believe
and
that.
that, I mean, that first requires learning what that looks like, and you know, exposing yourself to people that will help you see that too, which you've done. And I think that's so beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. But before we move too far into that, I want to talk about, you know, we've talked about the emotional effects of what a childhood like yours has, right? But let's talk about the physical effects too. The impacts on your health. And you know, I think that it's been more recently that we've began really learning and identifying the impact of emotional trauma on our physical bodies. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could not agree more. Um, Trauma is stored within our body. It can be stored in our muscles, in our organs, in any place, and especially where you have endured it the most, it can be stored. For me, everyone kind of attacked my neck. So I have a really severe neck reverse curve from the amount of times I've been hit in the face and had my hair pulled or dragged down the stairs with my hair. So this is something that will never be corrected. And it's just, it is what it is. And that's structural. But there's a lot of stuff internally that can go wrong too. And that is stored energy, that is stored events, that is stored trauma, that is stored years of whatever type emotional, sexual, physical, any type of abuse that can happen. That does not just leave you, that stays with you. And you have to be able to pull it out of you because it poisons you. And it poisoned me. And I went through two emergency surgeries throughout my years of abuse because my ovary and fallopian tube flipped and strangled each other and started cutting off the blood because my mother never wanted me to get pregnant. So that is something that she told me every single day from when I was little all the way up until I grew up was you don't deserve love. You don't deserve to have a child. I hope a child aborts you the minute that it becomes within you. And my ovary swelled and it swelled and it swelled and it swelled. Your ovaries are supposed to be the size of an almond. Mine became the size of a grapefruit and then it torsed. And I almost lost both of them. And it cut off blood supply for a really, really long time. And I was torsing in and out for 2 weeks and they could not figure out what was wrong with me. And thankfully, I got a wonderful doctor and he untorsed it. And it was a really intense surgery. I was under for like 6.5 hours because they were trying to figure out how to, because every time they would unwrap me, I would wrap again. And so I was literally just open on the table, torsing. And they were trying to figure out, like, okay, this poor 19-year-old girl, is she ever going to bear children? But all of my mother's words were stored in my reproductive parts. All of the trauma of you're never going to be good enough, no one's ever going to love you, you're not going to be a mother was stored there. And it made me sick. And it made me almost not become a mother. And then you fast forward 3 years when I was in a very abusive relationship with a man, the trauma became so intense that I was internalizing everything for the fear of my life. Your gallbladder and your pancreas are two organs that withhold all emotional trauma. And when you have an appendicitis or pancreatitis or gallstones, or if your gallbladder stops functioning, sometimes that's not actually the body giving out on you. It's what you have taken in for X amount of time. And my gallbladder went septic, and I almost died when I was in that relationship with him. And thankfully, again, my gallbladder got ripped out from me. I had a couple transfusions. I am still alive today, thank goodness, because of it. But it does. It's trauma, abuse, pain. It poisons you and it makes you sick.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, all the way down to the DNA level trauma impacts
Yeah.
every piece of our bodies. And you've got some really impactful ways and specific ways that trauma affected your body. And it's just, you're supposed to be here, Connor. You're supposed to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been
Yeah.
said symptoms of trauma are symptoms of inflammation. But that's not just it, right? It can impact, in a million different ways. So, um, you see that you've gotten medical help, you've gotten emotional help, and you've gotten past that. Yeah.
Yep.
Are there lingering health issues that you deal with? Are you okay? How are you doing?
Honestly, for me, it's just inflammation and trauma are they go hand in hand. And
Mhm.
also with that, trauma and triggers do. And triggers can also be internally where you can have bowel flare-ups, you can have digestive issues, you can have issues with your esophagus. Like I've given myself probably 5 ulcers over the time of what I've been through just because it my stomach was just eating itself because of what I was going through. And I still have triggers and I still have flare ups from that, but I learned to figure out what my body needs. And I've learned to, instead of fighting it and being upset with internally or emotionally what I was going through, being like, if I don't accept it and work with you, I am just being the person that hurt you for so many years. And I'm not going to walk that line and I'm not going to hold that person's hand. I'm going to listen to you and we're going to get through this together. I take lots of supplements, I work out religiously. Those are two things that really, really help me. But when my triggers arise from dates, times, holidays, or just certain events that happen, I have to give myself grace and I have to give myself love because if I don't do that to myself, I welcome the poison back in
That's right.
emotionally and physically.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. We didn't talk about this before. There's a book. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna blank on the author. The Body Keeps the Score.
Body keeps a score. Yep.
Beautiful book about trauma being stored in the body. Very, very helpful. I recommend it too. Mine's out on loan right now. As a matter of fact, my copy. So,
Yeah.
really great book that kind of defines a little bit about what you and I are talking about right now. And
Yeah.
and
It's
and so,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. So, wow, that so much you've been through in your few years, Connor. Oh my goodness.
Yes. I
Uh,
feel like I'm 130, not 30.
Oh,
I feel like I'm
you've got a
walking
wise
this.
soul, but yeah, you've got a lot of life ahead of you though.
Yeah.
I sense that from you. I feel that from you. And I think that all beautiful things are in your future. And when the less than beautiful things come your way too, you've got tools now to really handle that well. Yeah. So maybe we
Yeah.
spend some time talking about um, what those early days of healing looked like for you, what therapy looked like for you over that time. You've talked about you're still that this is a forever thing probably for you, right? I think everyone should be in therapy forever anyway, but yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you started seeing a therapist regularly. Let's talk about the different things that you tried, things that worked for you, things that um yeah, that helped.
Yeah. I believe that therapy is for everyone, but therapists are not for everyone. You really have to figure out with someone that is a safe space for you. I went through 5 until I found the one that really resonated with me, and I think that's really important because it's hard to just get the courage to get up there and do it, but then when you do it and you either don't connect or it's just really not the right fit, it could make you feel like, well, why did I do this in the first place? And I think in that too, you have to give yourself love and grace with that as well, because if you do not, you're not going to find the person that's actually going to help you. And I went through a therapist who, told me some really awful things to me and told me about the reasons that I went through all of this stuff was because of me. And yes, I am the common denominator in it, but I was also raised to become this person who enabled bad behavior because that's all I ever knew. And
Mm.
then whoever was looking out for me spiritually put this lovely woman in my life, and she just saw me.
Mm.
And it was different being able to be in a room with her where it did not feel clinical. And for me, that was the type of therapy that I needed. I did not want to feel like I was a specimen that you needed to poke and prod and then medicate. I just wanted someone to listen to me and to hold space for me. And that's what she did. And she helped me with books, with podcasts, which I loved. There are so many different avenues of healing that was not just internally with her, but also when I was not with her. And that was huge for me because I felt like I was always healing and I was always learning, not just in our safe space. And the first like 2 to 3 years of therapy, I call them my trauma tornado years because oh boy, were they a tornado. They sucked up my entire past and everything exploded within it. And I was not a fun person for those few years, but I had to unsurface the stuff that I blacked out for so long. And she was just the person that I was always with, but then I took different avenues. I'm very big into energy. I think energy within the body is stored, and that also poisons you. That makes you sick. Events need to be released. So I went through a lot of energy cleansing and learning how to cut cords with past lives, with current humans. And then once I was able to heal the physical abuse, and the emotional abuse, it was time for the sexual abuse, which took me about 5 years into therapy to even admit
Mm.
what had happened to me for those 23 years. And the sexual abuse for me is still the hardest. There are still things that my therapist does not even know because the things that were done to my body were so horrible that I still can't put them, I can't even say them. But I found this amazing EDMR therapist, and she reminded me very much of just my regular therapist. And she was such a beautiful, safe space. Unfortunately, she's not in practice anymore. But EDMR therapy is rapid eye movement therapy. So therapists do it different, where they can show you a series of images or they can show you hand movements, and you follow them, and your eyes move at an extremely rapid pace, and it triggers memories. And I am unlovable was triggered to all of my sexual abuse. So we started with I am unlovable, and it started from the first time that I felt like that all the way up to the 23, 24, 25-year-old that was going through therapy. And the sexual stuff, like I said, was just something that was so hard because during these sessions, when they would trigger the memory, I could feel the memory, I could taste the memory, I could smell the memory. And these were really horrible sexual violence acts that were done on not just my body, but my soul. And I could not speak it. And I was on Amazon one day and I found this book that was a trauma journal. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just get it because writing had always been a safe space for me. And I was able to write the sexual abuse in the journal, turn it to the EDMR specialist, and then have her move forward with me because I could not speak how awful the violence was. And then fast forward to a couple months ago, I get this flyer in the mail that has your picture attached to it at my business that I work at. And I was like, I know this lady. I know this name. And the universe provided by actually meeting the woman who helped me get some of the worst acts of violence done to me out.
Mm.
So I believe in the universe providing and bringing people together. So as much as your book has helped me, like I am just grateful that I'm even in front of you to be able to share my story.
Oh, it is that is the universe bringing us together. And yeah, I love that. And I love that. I'll tell you, I wrote that book because it's what I wished I had when I was really, really traumatized as well. And the there's some magic that happens when you put pen to paper. And for
Oh,
you, when you weren't able to speak, putting that pen to paper and just saying, okay, here's what I can't say,
yeah,
is I am so grateful that helped you. I am so like that's what I was hoping for in that book.
yeah.
So,
Well, you
yay.
succeeded. You put a safe space into a book, and that's hard to do. So,
Yeah. Oh, well, I'm so glad that was helpful. And I'm sure that with that, you being able to share that with that therapist, that therapist was like, oh, okay, yeah, here we go. Here we are. And was able to help you the rest of the way.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, beautiful. Oh, so beautiful. And yeah, so you and I have had coffee, we've chatted, we've shared lunch
Ah,
together, and it's
yes.
just been such a beautiful thing. And you're such a beautiful human to see. I'm so glad that you've made it this far, and that you've got so much to share and so much to talk about. And yeah, you belong in this world. This world is better for having you in it. So yeah, yeah. So
Appreciate
talk
that.
about, yeah. As you're still working on a lot of this, especially the sexual trauma. And I thank you for being so open about all of this, because I do believe, like in your childhood and in my childhood as well, where we don't talk about those things, right? We just don't. um,
Yeah.
I think has kept this world from the healing that it needs so bad.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
100%. And especially sexually, because sexual and
mhm,
shame go hand
mhm,
in hand together. And I don't feel shameful for what has happened to me. It's just, I just think sexual stuff is something that is just, there's an extra level of pain
mhm.
that's onto that. And yeah, sometimes that's really, really hard to admit because it's easier just to be like, oh no, like I went along with it, or oh no, I wanted that to happen. It's easier just to process it as that instead of being like, oh no,
Yeah.
this is my space. You were not supposed to enter my space,
Yeah.
and I think that type of stuff needs to be talked about, but not shamed.
Exactly. Exactly. And, part of that is those wounds that we experience with that kind of trauma, with this sexual trauma, especially, I mean, those are deep wounds, and that part of our nervous system doesn't have access to cognition, right? And our executive functioning, where where we can realize that, yeah, this is not for me to be ashamed of. It's the nervous
No,
system just doesn't have that. So it holds that shame too, even when we intellectually know better. It's, yeah, it's still there. So
yeah,
I love that you continue to work through that, and um
yeah,
simultaneously are having grace for yourself and just saying, yeah, here's where I'm at,
yeah.
here's where I'm at, you know.
Totally. But I use my trauma as armor. It really is.
Mhm.
It is something that I have had to place on me and suit up and get through and know that it's okay if I have good days and if I have bad days. Like my entire tattoo on my arm, I don't know if you guys can see this, but it's all black and white. That is literally my story, and the only color is a butterfly that is blue and purple, which is the sexual and domestic violence ribbon colors.
Mm.
And to me, it's something that I armor up with. It makes me me. It makes me the human that I am today. It makes me the healer that I am today, the wife, mom.
Oh.
So my baby has made me so much more emotional, but yeah,
That's,
that's to
yes,
me my
that's
peak of
beautiful.
healing is rewriting your childhood.
Hmm. So let's dive into that a little bit, about what life looks like now for you. And it's okay. Yeah, we're here with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I always wanted to become the woman that I did not have when I was a little girl. And there's always just been so much power between that. And the suicide attempts and the like just severe things that have happened to my body and my soul, I just was like, I keep surviving, and I keep getting through this, and I just, at the hands of multiple people, I should have died, and at the hands of myself. But there's a reason why I didn't, and there's a reason why I am the woman that I am today, and it's because to say, if I did it, you did it. I don't care if your story is a fraction of what I went through, if it's a million times worse than I went through. The pain, the trauma, everything can resonate with each other, and you can get to a point where you can be like, I did that.
Yeah.
I got through it. I healed. I created the life that I never thought I was going to. And I never thought I was going to be a wife. I never thought I was going to be a mom. I had my first baby last year, and she is the best thing that's ever happened to me. And
Mm,
knowing that I get to have the innocence of a child through my child's eyes, there's nothing better than that form of healing.
yeah. That's beautiful.
So
That's
life
beautiful.
right now is great, and anybody who's been through stuff can get to a point where it can get there. It's not always going to be great because that's not realistic.
It's
Not
an
realistic.
adventure, right? Yes.
We have to be real here. There's going to be ups and downs, but you can get to the point where you become your own safety.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. And to provide your child the life that you deserved but didn't get, and to raise your child to be the kind of human that is going to again extend what you bring to the world, right? And just carry that forward is just, yeah, that's
Yeah.
amazing. It's beautiful. I love it. I love that. Yeah. Mm. Okay, let's talk about, well, and we need to talk about the husband too.
Yes.
Yes, your early experiences were reflective of your childhood. It sounds like your current experience is more of a reflection of the life that you've built for yourself since. Yeah.
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 Yeah. He was actually I've known him since like really early into my trauma, but he had no idea because no one did. And he was like the one person that constantly saw me as me
Mm,
and not this person who was just hurting so badly but put on a facade for everyone else. And yeah, he just kind of stuck with me through thick and thin and always wanted me to date him. But what did I do? I dated all the toxic people because toxic people were, in my head, that was love.
right.
If you were hurting me, if you were cheating on me, that was love. And anybody who treated me healthy, because it was so ingrained in me that I did not deserve to feel loved,
Mm, mm,
unfortunately was not safe. And that took a lot of years of reprogramming internally for me to be able to receive love from somebody who can be soft and gentle and kind. And it does not have to be through pain. And that, I think that is very hard, especially being a woman. That's hard to just like unplug out of your system, but you can do it. You can do it. You just have to understand that one day you'll have that moment where, whether it's in therapy or something that happens to you, where you can cut that cord and you can say, you know what? No, I don't deserve this anymore. I deserve to feel what actual love feels like and to create a safe space and a partner. And
yeah.
that's what ultimately happened.
That's beautiful. And I think, tell me if I'm wrong here, but you, um, sounds to me like you tried, and then you tried again, and you tried again, and you tried again, and then you found that thing that kind of flipped the switch for you. And you did that in your personal life. You did that
Yeah.
for yourself. And then you also did it in therapy. A therapist,
Yes.
you tried again and you tried again. And then you went, okay, here's the one. Right. And you move forward with that person. And it's, it's a real testament to you and who you are as a human being. It's it's also a really important message for anyone else who is anywhere along any kind of a similar journey that you've been through. Like, hey, it's just keep trying. Their story may not, the time that light switch flip may not look exactly the same for them as it does for you, but it can happen. It's out there. Just keep trying. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're now too kind of where we are right now with technology is that everything's at the click of a button in your
Mhm.
palm. Healing is not linear.
Right.
Healing is not something that you can turn on and off. It is something that you have to actively work on every single day of your life until you can get to a point where you can actually take a breath in it and think, okay, I have my coping mechanisms, I have my tools. I did not give up no matter how hard it was. And then you persevere with that. But like I always go back to, going back to giving yourself love and grace in those moments when triggers arise, when other things like that arise, you have to just give that to yourself because it's unfair. It's unfair if you think, just like our technology in this world, at that click of the button, you're going to be fixed. No,
Fixed. We
that's
are
not true.
all a mess in one way or another. Right?
Yes.
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 Oh, well, let's talk about some of the highlights, the most important things that you see from your experience, from the path that you've walked. What lessons would you like for people to take away from this experience, this life that you've had? And we've
Yeah.
probably talked about some of them already, but yeah.
Yeah. I think just finding your internal power
Mhm.
is something that's really defining. If you can figure out, I don't like to use the word like find your purpose in life because I think that's a really tough pill to swallow because you can think about that financially or with a job or how you think your life should be envisioned. No, I'm talking about your internal flame, your internal fire. What is something that drives you? What is something that you have been taking for all of these years? And you're like, why am I doing this? I don't deserve this. What does that opposite version of yourself look like? And a lot of my defining moments through what I was going through was why? Why am I still in this? Why am I still here? How can I change? How can I move forward? How can I do this? And not just sit there and be crippled with the word victim. Victim is thrown around so much. And yes, of course, there are victims, but you can also choose to be one after you've been one.
Mhm.
I chose to be a victim for a lot of years because I didn't know any better. And yeah, and once I found my power, I said, I am not a victim. I am a survivor. I am 100% a survivor. And that is my power. My power is being a survivor. My power is being a safe space for other people. I've always have been when I was younger, through businesses, through whatever it was, through jobs, partners. I've always been a safe space, and that was my power, was survivorship and becoming the person that I always wanted as a kid. And when you find that and you look internally, that is the only thing that you need in life to actually push you through and drive you. Find your flame, ignite that damn flame, and you will be able to reach whatever you want to because it will be unstoppable.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I think that the title of this episode, "Your Past Doesn't Have to Define You," that you're speaking to that exact thing right now. And I think, yeah, that's great. That's great. And there's, speaking of that kind of decision that you made not to be a victim, to be a survivor. We look at where you came from, the struggles that your mother had. I mean, you had every reason to continue that and continue kind of that cycle, and maybe even pass that on to the next generation, and you
Yes.
chose to break that cycle. You chose to
Mhm.
educate yourself, both cognitively but also in your body, in your system, like, this is not what I'm bringing forward through the to the world.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I was raised with a perfect example of what I did not want to be when I grew up.
Mhm. Yes. Well, and
And
that's okay. You use that, right?
yes, I did. I said, I am not you and I will never be you.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Well, you have become a beautiful soul and yeah, a gift to this world for sure. Yeah. All right. In a minute, I want to open this up for questions for those who are here in our last few minutes together. So, anyone in attendance, if you have questions or comments for me or for my guest, please do. I know Connor would love to hear from you. So while they're doing that, though, while people are putting put your questions in the Q&A box, if you would, guys. Okay. But while they're doing that, I think this is a good time to talk about kind of the next beautiful chapter in your life. Let's talk about what has happened.
Yeah, so hand in hand with today is kind of like my official launch to my business. It is called Darkness in Disguise with Cece. And what it is I am a healer. I'm a guide. I can help with cutting cords. I can help with past lives and just help you find your path and help you find that fire and release what is hurting you. Because, like I said earlier, I've always wanted to be the person that I did not have. And now I am fully taking that and running that. And I don't care if I help one person or 1 million people. All I want people to do is to know that I'm open with my story. I'm open with healing, but I'm also open to be here and to help others. And the darkness in disguise actually comes from when I was a junior in high school. I lost someone very dear to me from suicide. And in my high school, I created a club called Darkness in Disguise, and it was a safe space for everybody who was actually in a lot of pain. And it never amounted to what I wanted it to be because poor 17-year-old me was just in so much trauma. I was trying to create a safe space, even though I did not have one, and I was just not equipped to do that now. So now I have the opportunity to take that as a rebirth and to say, I am at my highest purpose, power, fire, anything all wrapped into one. And now I can finally be that safe space for other people.
Ah, I love that. I love that so much. And I will tell you this, so many people need that safe space that you can provide. And people who may have been, where you were years ago, trying to meet with, a therapist or a coach or different people and not resonating.
Yeah.
It could be here they are now, right? So I've put a link to your website in the chat for everyone, so you guys go to that. We do have a couple of comments. One, Jim says, looking and sounding great. Hi, Connor. So that's just a hello. Jim loves you. Anna says, has there ever been a time during your healing journey where you felt that you failed? And if so, how did you navigate that?
Oh,
Yeah.
so many times. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think for me, my definition of failure was when I knew what I was doing was wrong by choosing the wrong partner, by choosing the wrong friend group.
Mm.
I knew I was wrong. I knew I was failing in my healing, but at the same time, those were the only people that felt good to me because I kind of craved chaos because I was in this chaotic world for so many years of my life. And I kept repeating the same thing after the same thing after the same thing. And then when I was looking back and I was going, okay, I'm the common denominator in these partners and these friendships. And as these failures, those were my failures for me. And I went, what am I doing and why am I doing that? So it was more something that I had to internally look in and go, where does the wounding start here? Is it something from adolescence? Is it something from something else? And just fully accept it. And as a society too, sometimes it's hard to say, I messed up and I'm sorry. or it's just easier to play that victim role, or I went through all this crap, so I'm just going to continue down on this path. No, you fail and you get back up again
Mhm.
and you push through and you ignite that flame and you find that power. And that might be a different flame and a different power for whatever season that you are in life, but accept the failure because failure makes us human.
Yeah. I love that you took that question and attacked the definition of failure and what that was for you then, right? And oh my goodness, yes. Do you ever feel like now, where you are now, which is just this beautiful place, if you get triggered, does that feel like a failure to you, or do you know better, or how does that? Yeah.
No, it can. And it kind of depends on what it is. If it's like one of my big triggers or my big events, I'm like, why am I feeling all of these emotions again? And then something that I did not do for a lot of years
Mhm.
is I just turned off my emotions like a light switch. And now, since they are fully on, I embrace them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure, this triggering moment can feel like a failure because I'm upset that I'm feeling all the feels. But if I don't feel all the feels, I'm going to make myself a million times worse.
Mhm.
So it's a blessing for me that I can feel now. So I'm going to face them head on.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. And in case you didn't catch that, yeah, being triggered isn't a failure at all. So yeah,
Not
it's
at all.
just that is your nervous system reacting to, yeah.
Yes.
So beautiful. Okay. All right. We've got a few more. Do you mind hanging out for a little bit longer? I hope you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jennifer says, Connor, you are so brave and such a pure, energetic being. I agree, Jennifer. Thank you for coming forward with your story and always being a light for others. So excited for you to share your healing abilities with those who need it. I love
Nope.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
Nope.
Awesome. And Jamie says, you've always been such an incredible soul from the moment I met you. And you've always been a safe space for me in your friendship. That's beautiful. I'm grateful for you sharing your story and know you will help so many people. You've always had a gift, and I love seeing you use it. Jamie. Wow.
Ugh. Ugh. Thankful for the womanhood that I have created around me now.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And what a testament to what you are bringing to this world. I am fully in agreement with those women. Yeah. Oh, here's another one. Here we are. Aubrey, I just wanted to say hi and I love you and I'm so proud of you. You're such a shining star. Agreed, Aubrey. Yeah. Yeah.
My
Well,
people.
yeah. You deserve that. You deserve every beautiful thing coming your way. There's more of that in your future. I know this, right? Yeah, because you're bringing more of this to other people's future as well. And it's, yes. Okay. If someone's interested in working with you, Connor, what is the best way for them to get in touch with you? How does that work for you?
Yeah, you can actually book with me right on my website. It's darknessindisguisewithcc.com. There is a contact form on there that goes right to my business email that you can contact me through this way, or you can just jump on there immediately and hit book now and schedule a time with me. I do everything virtual, so I don't care where you are or what time it is. I will be that place for you when needed, and or you can reach out to me via text message. I'm totally fine with that. My cell phone is 775-971-7595. And yeah, I just look forward to holding whatever space is needed.
That's beautiful. Okay, and your phone number's on your website as well.
Yes.
And I've put your website, a link to your website in chat. So grab that from chat, folks. And I will also put it in the show notes when we put this recording out there live on the internet. So how's that for you?
Sounds great.
Okay. All right. Connor, thank you so much for being here and just for being the
Thank you.
beautiful human that you are.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Appreciate
Thank
you.
you for what you do as well. And thank you to my girls who've said so many loving things. Appreciate you.
Beautiful. Okay. Until next time. We'll
Till
see.
next time.
Thanks everyone for being here. All right. Bye-bye.